What policy did your boss create that collapsed the department? My new boss called me into his office holding a productivity report like evidence at a trial. He looked at me with complete disgust. Your billable hours are pathetic. All this helping other teams and system maintenance stops today. Focus only on your assigned client projects or you're gone. My chest tightened. For 3 years, I'd been the one coordinating between teams, maintaining our shared databases, and keeping backup systems running. Our previous director understood that prevented disasters. This guy saw numbers on a spreadsheet and nothing else. He shoved a stack of client files across his desk, that smug smile spreading across his face like he'd just solved all our problems. I wanted to warn him what was about to happen, but I just nodded. Fine. I stopped answering my phone that afternoon. Without me holding it together, this whole department would collapse in a matter of weeks. 3 days later, the design team came to my desk looking panicked. Where are the client specifications? The search isn't working. My hand literally hovered over my keyboard, muscle memory ready to show them the workaround I'd used for years. Then I remembered. Sorry, I can only work on my assigned projects. 2 hours later, they sent blueprints that completely violated the client's requirements. The rejection email was brutal. I could have prevented that in 30 seconds. That same afternoon, our senior developer came sprinting to my desk, face white as paper. I just deleted 2 weeks of work. Tell me you have the backup. The hope in his eyes killed me. I'm not maintaining those anymore. Boss's orders. The color drained from his face. He spent the next month rebuilding code that already existed. I heard him crying in the bathroom once. Then sales promised a client features we didn't have. I saw the contract email and my heart started pounding. They always checked with me first, always. This time they just made promises that sounded good. When the client realized we couldn't deliver, they didn't just cancel. They sent an email to every company in their network warning them about us. Marketing sent out a mass email campaign advertising features we deleted half a year ago. My phone started ringing off the hook. Customer service transferred call after call to voicemail. I could hear them through the walls, getting screamed at by people who felt lied to. One rep started crying at her desk. Our biggest client scheduled an emergency call. $300,000 a year. I heard it through the conference room walls. Every team tells us something different. We can't trust anything anymore. The silence after they said they were leaving was deafening. Then my boss started screaming at the account manager about coordination. I sat frozen listening to him blame someone else for his policy. The project tracking system crashed on a Tuesday morning. IT kept saying they had backups. I knew they didn't. I'd been keeping the real backups because IT always forgot. Months of work vanished. Some people just put their heads down on their desks. One guy punched his monitor. 3 teams pushed code updates the same day, all modifying the same function. I used to prevent exactly this. The product went down at 2 in the afternoon. Thousands of customers locked out instantly. Our rating dropped from 4.7 stars to 1.9 overnight. Then came the call that changed everything. A financial services client needed quarterly reports for their $800,000 annual contract. My boss assigned it to someone who'd never touched that system before. I actually stood up to say something and stopped myself, then sat back down as nausea overwhelmed me. 3 days later, the reports went out showing profitable investments that were actually losing millions. When the client's lawyers sent the criminal negligence letter, my hands were shaking so hard I could barely read it. $3 million in losses and criminal charges, all because nobody knew the data had to be merged in a specific order. After that, it was like watching a building collapse in slow motion. Database entries started corrupting, and sales teams stared at blank contact fields. 3 major clients left in 1 week. People started quietly packing their desks. I made eye contact with one woman who'd been here 8 years, and she just shook her head at me with tears in her eyes before she left. Corporate called an emergency review, and the conference room felt like a funeral. Revenue was down 62% in 4 months. 12 major clients were gone, and 4 lawsuits threatened us with $9 million in damages. A third of our staff had quit. My boss stood there with his charts showing productivity increases. The CEO's voice was ice cold when he spoke. Individual productivity is up, but we're hemorrhaging millions. What exactly changed 4 months ago? My boss went completely white, and his mouth opened, but nothing came out. He couldn't admit his policy had destroyed everything. The CEO asked every team lead one question. What do you need to fix this? Every single person said they needed someone coordinating everything. Then every single person turned and pointed at me. The vindication felt hollow because everything was already broken. They fired my boss that afternoon and gave me his position doing exactly what he'd banned.